So the last class we could not complete the factors determining electronegativity and the applications of electronegativity measurements. And these two things we could not complete in the previous class because there was some network problem. So today we are going to see what we have seen in the last class. So factors determining electronegativity. Electronegativity is the capacity of an atom to attract the shared pair of electrons towards itself in a covalent compound. So it is the capacity of a particular atom in the molecule. But that capacity of that atom depends upon its environment. The environment can make that atom more electron deficient or electron rich depending upon the electron deficiency or electron sufficiency, its electronegativity will change. So the capacity of an atom to attract the shared pair of electrons is not depending upon the nature of that atom alone. It depends upon the nature of the other atoms with which it is attached. We are going to see one after the other how the environment affects the electronegativity, how the other atoms attached to that particular atom whose electronegativity is under consideration is being affected. So these are all the various things we are going to discuss today. So the first factor which determines the electronegativity of an atom is the charge on the atom. What is the charge on the atom? See, if it is having a positive charge or a cation, the cation is already electron deficient because it has lost its electrons and has become positively charged. Hence, the cation of a particular element will have more electronegativity comparing the neutral atom itself. See, anion, if you take anion is already electron rich because it has gained one or two more electrons and it has become negatively charged. So it will not show any attraction towards the further electrons. Hence, the electronegativity of the anion of a particular element will be less than the neutral atom itself. See, these are all ionic species. Fe2 plus, Fe3 plus, Ce3 plus, Ce4 plus, ionic species, but they are not covalent. These ions may have more attraction towards electrons, but as long as they are not a part of a covalent compound, you cannot speak of the electronegativity. But you can speak of the electronegativity here. This is not an ionic compound. This is a compound in which chlorine has the oxidation state +1 and this chlorine has the oxidation state +5. It doesn't mean that the chlorine has come out with the +5 charge or that chlorine has come out with a +1 charge, as in the case of Fe2 plus, Fe3 plus, Ce3 plus, Ce4 plus. It is in this compound, even before ionization, the chlorine is having this charge +1. See, now the chlorine is bonded to hydrogen and bonded to oxygen. Suppose if you consider this bond, the shared pair of electrons between the hydrogen and the chlorine, what type of pull is experienced by these electrons? That is the electronegativity of this chlorine. Look here, here is also a hydrogen chlorine bond. Here is also a hydrogen chlorine bond. This is also a covalent bond and this is also a covalent bond. But the electronegativity, that is the capacity to attract the shared pair of electrons, which are here towards the chlorine, it depends upon the charge on the chlorine. Look, oxygen carries two minus charges, hydrogen carries plus one charge. So plus one and two minus, finally plus one is the charge of this chlorine atom. Look here, oxygen carries minus two. So three oxygens minus six plus one for hydrogen. So plus five charge for chlorine. So this chlorine is more electron deficient. Hence, the electronegativity of this chlorine is high, and the electronegativity of this chlorine is low. So what happens? Because of the high electronegativity, it attracts the shared pair of electrons and almost it leaves the hydrogen electron less. So what will happen? This hydrogen will come out of the system forming H plus ion. So H plus ion easily comes out of HClO3, whereas the H plus ion is not easily coming out of HClO. Hence, HClO is a weaker acid, whereas HClO3 is a stronger acid. So this strong nature and the weak nature is now determined by the electronegativity of the chlorine, and in turn the electronegativity of the chlorine is determined by the oxidation state of the chlorine. Here it is plus 1, here it is plus 5. So the charge on the atom is one of the determining factors of electronegativity. Now, the second determining factor is a hybridization. You may be knowing what is hybridization. It is the mixing up of orbitals of different energies to result in the orbitals of equal energy. So when the orbitals of equal energy, they are projected, they arrange themselves in space and they form the geometry. This hybridization plays an important role in the geometry of the molecules. The methane is a tetrahedral in structure. It is because of the sp3 hybridization. So hybridization plays a very important role. But when you mix up orbitals of varying energies, what is the contribution of one particular orbital in the mixing up? See, look here. In the case of sp3 hybridized orbital, one s orbital and three p orbitals mixed together. Hence, the contribution of s orbital is 25%. So the entire mixing up is having 25% of s character. In the case of ethylene, sp3 hybridized has 33% of s character. In the case of acetylene, sp hybridized 50% of s character. The s character, actually, the penetrating power. Look here, we have already discussed what is the penetrating power. Penetrating power means it is how close the electrons are with the nucleus, or how the electrons easily penetrate the nucleus. It is not the diffusing power, or it is not the screening effect of the orbitals. You should not understand like this. You should take the orbitals of one principal quantum number. See, if you are going to compare how close the orbital is with the nucleus, you should not take 1s and 2p and 3d and 4f. That is not the good discussion. You should take 4f, 4d, 4p and 4s. All the orbitals are of the same principal quantum number. Then you can compare the penetrating power of the orbitals. Certainly 1s orbital will be closer to the nucleus and a 3s orbital will be far away from the nucleus. So you should not compare for different principal quantum numbers. You should take one principal quantum number and you have to compare the orbitals, how closer they are to the nucleus, and what are the penetrating powers of them, and then you can compare. So when you compare the penetrating powers, s orbital has the highest penetrating power, and lesser than that p orbital, lesser than that d orbital, and the least among them is f orbital, provided they have the same principal quantum number. So if you take 4s, 4s is greater than 4p, is greater than 4d, is greater than 4f. So when you have more s character, so this s character, when the s character increases, the electrons are closer to the nucleus. When the electrons are closer to the nucleus, certainly the electronegativity will also be higher. See, in the case of methane, S character is just 25%. In the case of ethylene, S character is 33%. In the case of acetylene, S character is 50%. So this S character is for the carbon. Now look here, watch closely. This is a carbon which has 25% S character. Actually, it has formed a covalent bond with the hydrogen, all the 4 hydrogens. So the carbon, hydrogen, their electron pair is in between. Now, what is the capacity of this carbon to attract the shared pair of electrons towards itself? This carbon also attracts the shared pair of electrons. This carbon also attracts the shared pair of electrons. This carbon also attracts the shared pair of electrons. But as the S character is less here, this attraction is less. As the S character is comparatively higher, this carbon will effectively attract the shared pair of electrons towards itself. In the acetylene, as the S character is almost 50%, it attracts much powerfully the shared pair of electrons towards itself. Hence, what happens? The removal of H plus. See, when the H plus will be removed, H plus can be removed if H loses that electron. If the electron of the hydrogen is completely transferred to this carbon, then H plus will come out. Otherwise, the H plus will not come out as long as the bond is covalent and they want to, both the hydrogen and carbon, they want to own the carbon, they own the electron. The electron is a common property. As long as the electrons are at the middle, the hydrogen will not come out. But the carbon of the ethylene and the carbon of the acetylene, they have high power. That is a high electronegativity. To attract the shared pair of electrons, the H plus comes out of ethylene and acetylene, but not from methane. That is why it is stated that the hydrogens present in ethylene and acetylene are acidic hydrogens, whereas hydrogen present in methane is a neutral hydrogen. So what is an acidic hydrogen? They can come out in the form of H plus ion. So acetylene, the H plus is easily removed. Ethylene, H plus can be removed, but H plus cannot be removed from methane. So the hydrogen atoms in ethylene and acetylene are acidic hydrogens, whereas hydrogen atoms in methane is a neutral hydrogen. Similarly, just you can take the reverse of this. The acidity of the atom which has sp3 hybridization is high. Acidity with sp2 hybridization is less. Acidity with sp3 hybridization is much less. Just the reverse of this, basicity of sp3 is the least, of sp2 is higher, and sp3 is much higher. So when S character increases, what happens? Electron pulling increases. So electron donating capacity decreases. See, you should thoroughly understand this particular point. When S character increases, it attracts the shared pair of electron towards itself. So its ability to donate the electron decreases. So look here, this is cyanide group. Cyanide group, look at the nitrogen. The hybridization in nitrogen in the case of cyanide group is sp. that is 50% is character. In the case of pyridine, sp2, which is 33% of its character. In the case of aniline, sp3, which is 25% as character. Now, these nitrogen compounds, see, nitrogen has a lone pair. In all these things, nitrogen has a lone pair. And the nitrogen is a good electron donor. But the donating nature of the nitrogen changes with its hybridization because of the electronegativity. See, sp is a 50% S character. It attracts more electron. Hence, this nitrogen will not donate the lone pair which is present on the nitrogen. So what happens? Nitrogen becomes less basic in the case of cyanide, less basic. Whereas pyridine, which is comparatively high basic than cyanide. Whereas aniline is the most basic one because it has only 25% of its character. So the electrons can be easily donated. Suppose I want to give you one more extra information. Even this aniline, as it is present, the nitrogen is connected to the benzene ring. The benzene ring attracts the electron by resonance effect. Actually, this is attracting electron. So because of that, even this donating capacity will decrease. Suppose if you think, instead of this benzene group, one methyl group is attached. You know, methyl group has plus I effect, that is inductive effect. So this will push the electron to nitrogen. Nitrogen will be more electron rich then the lone pair can be easily donated. So when the nitrogen is attached to electron donating groups, basicity increases. When the nitrogen is attached to electron withdrawing group, basicity decreases. But if you consider only the nitrogen, depending upon the hybridization involved, the basicity changes. So when it is sp3 hybridized, it is less basic. When sp2 hybridized, it is more basic. When it is sp3 hybridized, it is the most basic. So acidity and basicity, they are inverse. So in the case of methane, just 25% of its character. So it is less acidic. In the case of acetylene, 33% its character, it is more acidic. In the case of, in the case of ethylene, in the case of acetylene, it is 50% S character, which is the most acidic among them. So removal of H plus becomes very easy in the case of acetylene and can be removed with a little effort. In the case of ethylene, it cannot be removed in the case of methane. Here, it is the removal of electron. For acids, we speak of removal of H plus ions. For bases, we speak of the removal of electrons. So when it is sp3 hybridized, electron can be easily removed. So aniline is the most basic substance among them, and pyridine is lesser than that, and cyanide is the least basic substance among them. So this is how hybridization becomes a determining factor for electronegativity. Now, the third one. This is another interesting problem. The third factor is the effect of substituents. What is the substituent present in a compound? That also plays a very important role in determining the electronegativity of that atom which is under consideration. Look at the carbon. We are just speaking of the electronegativity of the carbon. In this compound CF3I, carbon is connected to 3 fluorine atoms and 1 iodine atom. In CH3I, methyl iodide, carbon is connected to 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 iodine atom. Now what happens? This carbon is found to be more electronegative. The reason is the carbon is connected to iodine, carbon is connected to 3 fluorine. Fluorines are more electronegative. So they attract the shared pair of electrons from carbon. So carbon becomes more electron deficient. So the electronegativity of carbon is more. But in the case of methyl iodide, hydrogen is not of high electronegativity. So the carbon is relatively electron rich. So it has less attraction towards electron. So it is less electronegative. But this electronegativity difference of this carbon is very much visible when they react with OH minus ions. See what happens. OH minus ion, when it is reacting with the CF3I, this carbon is more electronegative. So it attracts the H minus. H minus goes over there and it gets attached on the carbon. So the compound that is formed is a CF3H, leaving IO minus. But in the case of CH3I, when the OH minus comes, the entire CH3 group gets attracted to OH minus and I minus comes out. See, the electronegativity of the carbon plays a vital role in determining what the nature of the compound that is formed. So, the effect of substituents is another factor determining the electronegativity of a compound. And the fourth factor is ionization energies and electron affinities. According to the Mulliken's definition for electronegativity, so Mulliken said it is the average of ionization energy and electron affinity. What is ionization energy? It is the minimum energy required to remove one electron from the outermost orbit of an isolated atom in its ground state electronic configuration. What is electron affinity? It is the energy released by an atom when one electron is added to form an anion from a neutral atom. So when you compare these two energies, I have already told you, ionization energy is the energy what we supply. Electron affinity is the energy what the system gives out. So when you add these two things, the average, that will be the electronegativity according to Mulliken. So what Mulliken states, electronegativity is directly proportional to ionization energy and also electron affinity. If ionization energy is high, electronegativity will also be high. If electron affinity is high, electronegativity will also be high. So electronegativity depends upon the ionization energy and the electron affinity altogether. So that is the fourth factor determining the electronegativity of an atom. And the fifth factor is the effective nuclear charge. What is this effective nuclear charge? I have already told you that the effective nuclear charge can be found out using the Slater's rule. The Slater's rule you will be studying in the next semester. And this is the approach of the Aldred and Rochow. According to Aldred and Rochow, see, the nucleus is positively charged and which is at the center of the atom. That positively charged nucleus is attracting all the electrons towards itself. Now what happens when the size of the atom increases? The nucleus is not able to effectively attract the outermost electron. And also when the number of the inner electron increases, then what happens? Because of the shielding effect, as the inner electrons shield or the screen the power of the nucleus which has to fall on the outermost electron, the nuclear charge experienced by the outermost electron decreases. So the nuclear charge experienced by the outermost electron decreases when the size increases and also when the number of the inner electrons increases. So what happens? The effective nuclear charge when you move along the period increases because the size decreases and atomic number increases. When you move down the group, it decreases because of the size decreasing. See, along the period, size decreases. So the outermost electrons are brought closer and the effective nuclear charge felt by the outermost electron is more. But when you move down the group, size of the atom increases and also increase in the number of inner electrons. So these two factors, it decreases the effective nuclear charge. So what happens? Electronegativity increases along the period and electronegativity decreases down the group. See, down the group, you can take this as an example. Fluorine 4.0, chlorine 3.0, bromine 2.8, iodine 2.5. This is the electronegativity quantity. But along the period, lithium 1.0, beryllium 1.5, boron 2.0, carbon 2.5, nitrogen 3.0, oxygen 3.5, and fluorine 4.0. So along the period, electronegativity increases, and down the group, electronegativity decreases. So next, the effective nuclear charge, it very much depends upon the inner electrons. Screening effect, this is what I have already said. In the case of alkali metals, when you move down, lithium 1.0, sodium 0.9, potassium 0.8, and rubidium also 0.8, and the cesium is 0.7. It all because of the screening effect experienced by the outermost electron. But you can see one more thing. Here the potassium and rubidium, they have almost equal electronegativity. And what would be the reason is the introduction of transition metal in between them. And because of the transition metals introduction, see, their sizes are almost comparable. So they have almost equal electronegativity. So these are all the various factors determining the electronegativity of atoms. Now we are going to discuss another thing, which is the applications of electronegativities. Now I disconnect the meeting. Please reconnect in the same link.